Drew, hey, I'm so glad to be talking with you today. Thank you for being willing to meet with me.
No, for sure. Thank you for having me, Sonny.
All right, so I'm Sonny Silverton, proud Newport parent, rabid Newport Wildcat fan, and most importantly, I run not importantly, but I run the Newport boys basketball support page on Facebook.
Correct.
I created that page for one reason, and that's to shine a light on all the positive things happening in Newport, and there's a lot of positive things to see this year. And recently, I interviewed Coach Snap at my own setup, at my studio. But today, I'm here at your studio at Make It Rain. And so thank you for letting me be here, and thank you for letting me interview you in your own space. I really appreciate that.
No, for sure. I really appreciate you for coming down, Sonny.
Yeah. So, real quick, a lot of people are becoming familiar with the Newport Wildcats. They've seen them win some recent tournaments. I think they have a 12-3 record, and they played a really hard schedule.
Tough schedule.
Really tough schedule. And people are pretty familiar with the Snaps. I did an interview with them to talk about them and their philosophy. But somebody said, "Hey, you're not telling the whole story if you're not talking with Andrew Mitchell." So how are you connected to the Newport Wildcats, Drew?
So, a little bit about myself. I met Snap and Coach Snap, Rod Snap, my first year out of college. We were at a basketball event. He was actually there watching his son, Ethan, who's also on the staff. It was my first weekend out of the NCAA tournament. We had just got beat in the Sweet 16.
Who's we?
I played at Xavier University.
Okay.
So we had just got beat, and I ran into Coach Snap. He congratulated us on a good year and a good run that we had made in the NCAA tournament. He had asked me to go say a few words of encouragement to his son, Ethan, who had just broke up, I believe, a bone in his hand.
Oh.
Yeah, so he couldn't play that weekend, so he was kind of bummed. So I just went over and said a couple little words of positivity to him. Coach Snap, we continued to have a brief conversation. He invited me to go to an open gym at Newport. I was kind of in the mix of trying to decide what I was going to do next in my life and career. Coach Snap, I went over the next week to Newport High School and played open gym, which is just pick up 5-on-5 pickup games with the team, and went over there and I enjoyed my conversation with Coach Snap. He's cool guy, and he kind of offered me a job to join the coaching staff.
Oh,
at that time.
You were a coach at Newport?
Yeah, I coached at Newport, man.
But you're not a coach now.
Not now. I'm not
Okay.
a coach on the staff.
You
Currently,
were.
I was a coach. Yeah, fresh out of college. I was probably like 23, 24 years old. I coached 2 years with Coach Snap. Had a lot of fun. He got me a job in the school. I was working in the school as a full-time sub and a mentor in the school to the youth. It was pretty good, man. So that was kind of my role at the time.
So that's how you got in. But you didn't stay there. You kind of moved on to other things.
Yeah, I moved on to other things. My buddy Edmund Sumner got drafted out of Xavier to the NBA. He got picked 51st in the NBA draft, and he wanted me to kind of manage him. So I started doing some work with him and managing him. I did everything, except kind of his contract, a lot of his day-to-day stuff. Anytime he needed me, I was kind of there. Basically the middle guy to make sure that everything was ran right, so he could take his mind off some things.
He could focus on basketball.
What he needs to focus on. I made sure that everything, if he needed something, I was contacting his agent, Jared and Sean, and making sure that everything was kind of ran smoothly so he could just really focus on the on-court things that he needed to worry about.
And I think it's at that stage that I actually met you with my family. I'll get into that in a minute. But so you're there. So you start training during that time. What happened?
Man, I started training, got into do a little training, man. Some kids were just coming up to me and asking me to do a little bit of training. I had never really done it before, but I was, training the high school kids at Newport. Then my nephew, Mikkel, he had moved up here his sophomore year and was living with me my last year at Xavier. Then he ended up enrolling at Newport. Met some of his buddies, Taj, Makai, Donnie, some of his best friends. Started doing a little training with those guys, obviously, because I was on the staff at Newport and I wanted to see them have success. So I started training those guys and kind of learned a little bit more about the training field and kind of realized that I actually kind of like this a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say you have a natural feel for it, huh?
So I just liked watching guys get better at the game and, stuff that they like to do, and then it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah, well, it's kind of special because you're young. You're probably still fit, kind of in your prime, and you're able to take them and teach them what you're learning at the higher level, at the D1 level, and take some of those trainings and give them to high school guys, which is not normal, right?
Yeah. I try to do my best.
Yeah.
I try to do my best.
So that's the point at which I met you, which is, I was just a homeschool dad. I didn't have any kids in public school. I got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
But my second to oldest, Noah, he climbing the walls, homeschooled, but he wanted to play basketball. So I connected with some folks at Southgate School.
Yeah.
Mr. Duty there, he allowed Noah to play basketball, even though he was homeschooled.
Yeah.
Which I was super grateful for. But I mean, Noah didn't know anything about that. Just
Yeah.
other than he liked to play,
Yeah.
right? And so you mentioned, there he is in games. Like I think his first game, what happened?
I think he shot at the wrong basket.
He shot at the wrong basket.
Yeah. It was Noah, man. When I first saw Noah and I came to the first Southgate game, I was like, who is this kid? Like hadn't seen him before. He was probably like 6'1" at the time, and he's like in 7th grade. And I was like, man, this kid has a lot of raw talent. Yeah. And when I say raw talent, it's like a lot of talent that he hasn't touched yet. Yeah. But I knew he had a lot of potential. He was extremely fast. He was a good athlete. He was already physically stronger than a lot of kids at that age. Mm-hmm. But I know I had talked to you a few times, and I think at the time he was doing Taekwondo.
Yep.
So he was in extremely good shape. And then you had asked about doing a little training with him.
Yep.
And then, man, I remember you invested your time and, and believed in me at that time. And, I was training Noah probably 3-4 days a week. Yeah. You were extremely invested. He was extremely invested when he came there. Noah went hard every day. Yeah. In workouts.
What happened, Drew, is I had no clue what to do.
Yeah.
In high school, I was a wrestler.
Okay.
Right? If he was wrestling, I could take him. If he wanted to jiu-jitsu, I could teach him something.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know anything about basketball.
Yeah.
And so the way I found you was Taylon Kinney.
Yeah.
So on the court, there was this, 5th grader, like dominant on the court against all these other older kids, right? I saw him score a bunch of points. He had the ball on a string. He was like in 5th grade. It looked unnatural.
Yeah.
I'm like, something's wrong here. What's happening? Or really right, rather. Mm-hmm. And that's how I had Tay's connection with you. And you were kind of training him. And I think I came to you and asked, hey, can I, do you train? And you were like, well, I'm not sure. And I think it was Mikkel who said, yes.
No, yep, she did. She definitely stepped up and said that I train. Tay came home one day and he was talking about this kid on his team. He was like, man, we got this big kid. Because the year previously, I think Tay's 4th grade year, he was on a team with a bunch of kids. They're all buddies, but a lot of them didn't really understand how to play basketball. Yeah. So, obviously the talent wasn't really there. Southgate was a bunch of kids that were friends that were just playing the game because they were having fun. Yeah, Taylor was more competitive than a lot of kids at that age. He was really good. He put a lot of work in, a lot of time in at his craft. Mm-hmm. And then he came home one day and he was raving about this kid. He's like, man, it's a kid. He's homeschooled. He's like, he's really fast. He's like super fast. And he was like, and he's tall. I'm like, oh, so you guys are going to be good. And he was like, I don't know about that. Yeah. And then I was like, what do you mean? I was like, you just raved about this kid. And he was like, he has a lot of work to do. Then I saw Noah and I was like, God. I'm like, yeah, he has a lot of work to do, but he could be really, really good if he buys in. I think I told you at that time, Sonny, like, Noah really buys into this, he can go to college at some level to play basketball. And you, I don't know. And I was like, Sonny, I'm telling you, like, he can go to college to play at some level. Am I saying he's Kentucky, Duke, or North Carolina good? I can't promise that. Yeah. Could be. You never know. But I knew at some level he could go because he had the work ethic, he had the natural gift, and he had the drive to want to do it. And if you have at least 2 of those 3 things, you have a chance.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have the vision at the time. I'll just be honest. I was just trying to get the kid out of the house because he was climbing the walls or whatever. Yeah. But you did, and you saw something I didn't, right? Which is when I started, I saw him just missing shots and kind of not really knowing what he was doing. And I thought, I guess I thought players were just born. Yeah. Like you're just good at it or you're not. And I thought, I guess it keeps him active, so it's good. But you had a plan for kind of developing him, right? So you started with like teaching him how to dribble. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Like a baby, man. It was like a baby. And for me, I called it my project.
Okay.
So Noah was my project at that time. So I just wanted to see how good I could actually get him or how far we could take this thing. Yeah. So, it was baby steps at one point. When he was an 8th grader, my plan for him was, his freshman year, let's see if he can play JV.
Okay.
I think you took him to Cincinnati, homeschool, the Trailblazers.
Yep, Trailblazers.
And he went there and he had a good freshman year. Mm-hmm. Then, we had conversations about him coming to Newport. Yep. And, you trusted in that vision. And I think Newport, he came as a sophomore. He played JV. He was a big.
He was a freshman.
His freshman year.
So he played 8th grade.
8th grade.
But he played up.
Played up. Yep.
He played up. So he came 8th grader. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did really well at Newport as a freshman. He played a lot of JV. Yep. He scored the ball. He was rebounding well. He was defending. It was like he was coming to his own. I think he had a really, really nice dunk in the JV game as a freshman.
Right. First
game ever. And I saw those things, and I remember we looked at each other, and you asked me, like, what happened? Yeah. And I just told you, like, the work, man. The work works. That's one of my phrases that I go by. Mm-hmm. The work works. A lot of people think you can wake up one day and just be good. It doesn't work like that unless you wake up and you're 7 foot or you're born into a life and you're just naturally gifted. That's, the 0.1% of the world. Like, you have to work at this thing. Basketball especially, it's a rep sport.
Yeah.
If you rep something so many times, naturally you're going to get better at it. If you think you can just wake up Monday and you're good at basketball, it just doesn't happen like that. You have to really, really buy into work at your craft, and, you know, things will work out.
And what was really cool, as a parent, something I appreciated, so you were doing the reps, you were developing them into an actual basketball player, but there's all kinds of character things that were in there, like working hard, like, you know, sometimes you miss them, like throw a fit or something, right? And you talk to them about that. Sometimes, you know, you get discouraged or down, but you come in and you, like, encourage, and, like, as a parent, you know, seeing him develop as a person meant far more to me than the basketball.
For sure.
And he came such a long way in that. So for that, you know, super grateful. And it's cool that you're doing that with not just him. Now you're doing that with all kinds of kids, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's
So
great.
tell me about that. What are you doing?
So I'm a trainer at Make It Rain down here. You know, I met Brett and Phil actually through you. You had reached out to me. I was training at D1, Northern Kentucky, and
It's a cool place.
I like D1 a lot. Charles and Caitlin, that was my family. I loved them to death. They know that. You had talked to me one day. You came to me and were like, I want you to see this place called Make It Rain Hoops. And I was like, what is that? You were like, you never heard of it? And I was like, no, it's brand new. I believe it opened in July, about a year and a half ago, 2 years almost. And you were like, let's go check it out. And you scheduled a day with Brett, and I came down here and checked out Make It Rain. And I walked in and I fell in love right away. I saw the vision that Brett had at the time. I saw the shooting machines and what he was trying to do with it, and how passionate Brett was about Make It Rain. It was like his baby. So for me, I was just looking at it like, it's right here in the heart of Newport. For some reason, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, but, you know, Newport has, like, stolen my heart. These kids, a lot of them come from the same things that I come from. You know, where I'm from, a lot of people, they don't have much, you know, and for me, it was always, I watched my mom and dad always lend a helping hand to a lot of kids. So for me, I believe that's my why, my purpose is to continue to help kids and build them up and help them get out of these environments. Not saying that it's the worst environments in the world, but everybody needs a little help.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to give back and help or be judged by something. Like, I'm always willing to help. So for me, I fell in love with this.
So I want to say something there. Like, so it's one thing getting kids out of an environment. Like, I came from a pretty rough background. I got out. But I think what's cool, you guys are doing here, you're doing Make It Rain, and you in particular with these kids, is you're actually making Newport better.
Yeah.
Right? I see parents, I see families, I see, like, alumni, I see people in the neighborhood coming out to watch the games, and they're excited. Like, it's giving them something positive here.
Yeah.
People are rooting for these kids. People are excited when they go, and it's like their victory is like our victory.
Newport basketball has brought the spark back to the community.
I think so.
You know, these kids, like, if you know these kids, you're gonna love these kids. Like, they're extremely sweet, they're genuine, they're humble kids. They're all one pack. You see one, you're gonna see multiple of them.
Yeah. Like,
they're all best friends, man, and all they want to do is win. Not only for themselves, their coaches, their friends, their family, but they want to win for the community. Like, it's nothing more than these kids want to bring a state championship back to Newport. You know, that's what they want to do. A lot of these kids could have went to any other high school in the community or in the state, or, you know, and these kids chose to go to Newport because they believe in the vision that's being built and the culture down in Newport, and I couldn't respect those kids more for that.
Yeah. Your role in that is not forgotten. I think it's just pretty significant. Tell me about, so this Newport machine that's happening, that's making basketball players, right?
Yeah.
There are several kids who are going to college from Newport, right? What's happening there? Tell me about the kids that have come out of Newport and they're in high school. How are they doing?
So that, from what my knowledge, since I've been at Newport, I know there's 6 kids right now that are currently playing college basketball with Mikael Burris, Tosh Harding, Donnie Miller, Makai McGuire, Deshaun White, and Keandre Nelson. In one that just graduated last year, Marquez Miller, former 9th Region Player of the Year, is playing college basketball as well at Georgetown College. You know, he just graduated last year. These kids, man, they've kind of set the tone of everything that's going right now at Newport. These kids are in college. They're good kids. They're good students. They don't get in a lot of trouble when they're here. Like, these kids, they are respected in the community. They're gym rats. They're constantly in the gym. When they're home, they're constantly in Make It Rain. Almost every day. Some days I have to tell these guys to take a break. Yeah. Because they just want to work. And it's kind of set the tone of where the Newport team is at now. Yeah. I believe on this team we have, you know, endless amount of kids that could be college athletes. at football or basketball. So I believe, you know, the upcoming years, next 4 to 5 years, you're going to see a lot of scholarships rolling through Newport. These kids believe in you know, the kids that are in college now have kind of set the tone for what, you know, the expectation is at Newport basketball. Like you play Newport basketball, you work on your game, you know, it comes with rewards, and that reward is a scholarship.
And Coach Snap has been big on that. Like everyone can go somewhere, right? And so I think it's cool that he's not just looking out just to win, but he's looking to develop kids, and he wants to see them succeed afterward. He really sees Newport as a stepping stone
To get to where they're trying to go. Yeah,
I think it's really cool.
That's really cool.
That's really cool. Okay. So you're training here at Make It Rain. You're working with neighbors. You're not just working with Newport.
Nope, not just
That's just a
Newport.
coincidence. But you're working with kids from all over the tri-state area, right?
Correct.
And you're doing AAU stuff
Yeah.
out of here. What's up with that?
So we have we just recently started probably 5 or 6 months ago. Drew Mitchell Elite.
Oh, you got your name on it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Me and Brad had multiple meetings about that. I never really wanted to do it, man. To be honest, Sonny, I wasn't a big fan of putting my name on anything. You know, I never needed a ego stroke or anything like that. But man, it was kids that we've done good work with. You know, the trainers and myself, not just me. I don't need all the credit. We did good work with, and they were asking, why don't you guys do teams?
Yeah.
And you know, the more that Brett and Phil, you know, harped on it to me, I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And you know, the first session, fall session, we had one team. Our team happened to go undefeated. You know, during the regular season. Then we ended up getting beat in the Final Four. It was a good run. Had one loss the first session. Then we came out. You know, the winter session, we put out a trial flyer. Ended up, man, having 12 teams.
You have 12 teams
Yeah,
right
12
now?
teams currently going right now. And then we actually just put out a tryout flyer for February 8th. We're having Drew Mitchell Elite tryouts. And, you know, we think we're going to probably have anywhere from 17 to 22 teams.
That's a lot of teams.
Yeah, man. So it's crazy, man. But I'm super duper thankful, honestly.
And those teams, do they come to your workout facilities
they
and work
come
out?
to the facility. Yeah, every week.
Yeah.
Every week they all have a set day where they have a set day, a set time where they have a team workout where a trainer or myself will put them through a workout once a week. Then some of them schedule a day where they do a practice as well.
Is this character development piece part of the org structure too? Like, is that something you want to do for all the kids?
Yeah, that's what I want to do for all the kids. I believe it's a stepping stone. You know, obviously the training and the workouts is all good, but you need to be able to you know, apply that to a team setting.
Yeah.
You know, being on a team, man, goes far more than just a basketball game or a football game or a soccer game. It's like being on a team is a part of life in your work field, anything, you know, being able to work with people to achieve a goal. I mean, that's anything you do in life.
Yeah.
I think it's a big piece to be a part of a team.
Are there any distinctives to your particular style of training? Like, so when I saw you train, I mean, there was something different because I don't know anything about basketball. I couldn't articulate it, but like I've seen other trainers, I've seen, you know, people do reps and things, but
Yeah.
there's something different about what you do. I can't quite put it to words.
Yeah.
Can you? Like, how would you describe the difference?
It's kind of hard to explain, but for me, it's like I try to build like a family setting.
Okay.
You know, I want the kid to be able to come in and not be nervous. You know, that first kid, you know, when he comes in that first time, he walks in the gym, and you may walk in and may be 9 kids, and you may not know any of them. You know, I try to make them feel as comfortable as if they've been here for 6 months to a year. I try to make them feel comfortable and understand that it's a judgment-free zone. That's one of the things that I harp on a lot in my trainings and my workouts. I'm not here to judge you. These kids here I teach them, like, we're not here to judge anybody. Nothing's funny. Everybody messes up. When you go hard, you're going to make mistakes. If you go every rep and you're comfortable, you're never going to get better until you push yourself out of that comfort zone, and everything has to be game speed. I talk a lot about being game speed. So when you're going game speed, you're going to mess up. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to always dribble the ball great today. You're not always going to make shots. But if you go hard every day, you're guaranteed to get better. That's what I try to teach kids. Just come in here with an open mindset. Like, nobody's here to judge you. Just go as hard as you can and just trust it. Trust the process, trust the work, and you're going to get better. So that's what I try to harp on in my workouts. You know, so if I had to articulate myself, that's one thing I try to do. I try to create an environment where you're comfortable and you're working hard at the same time.
All right, let me steer our conversation back to Newport, because that's what this is going to ultimately wind up on the Newport Facebook page.
Okay.
2 seniors at Newport right now, Jabari Covington and DJ Jackson, right? Deshaun. Both of them have college offers, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And both of them probably going to get more before the season's over.
I would think so.
You think so?
I'd be shocked if it did.
What should a college coach who's looking, what would you tell them? Like, in all honesty, not
Okay.
I mean, like, what should they know about those guys? Start with Jabari.
If it's Jabari Covington, obviously these two kids, man, they mean a lot to me. They're family to me. Jabari Covington, man, a wizard with the basketball. You know, he has the ball, what I like to say, on a string.
He does.
It's hard to steal the ball from him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jabari, sometimes he's hard on himself, extremely hard on himself. He wants to be perfect. Jabari can really score the basketball. He has a knack for getting to the rim. I think as he gets to college, he's going to get a little stronger, and it's going to make his game a lot better.
Yeah.
Jabari wants to win. He wants to win so bad.
He does.
Yeah, he wants to win.
He's shifty too.
Super duper shifty.
He's unpredictable. You think he's gonna go this way, he goes that way.
It's hard to guess him. If you try to guess him, you're gonna struggle.
I'll tell you how I know. So I film, and I'm always holding my little iPhone there, but
Yeah.
sometimes Jabari's crossover, I lose him.
Yeah, you lose him.
I think he's going the other way, and I missed, and I have to like recorrect. So he's crossing me over, and I'm across the gym.
So sometimes Jabari, man, sometimes he sees a play two steps ahead. Some kids don't have that ability.
He's like a Jedi.
Yeah, Jabari can see things 2 plays ahead. Extremely talented kid. I think he has an extremely bright future. Jabari wasn't at Newport. He's been here for 2 years now. He was at CCPA in Ohio for 2 years. Jabari's came to Newport. He became a better student. He's become a better leader. Became a better basketball player. Extremely confident. He wants to win. I think Jabari has an extremely bright future, and I'm definitely excited to sit in the stands and watch wherever he ends up and whatever college is lucky to have him.
Yep, I'm certainly a fan. All right, Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
Tell me about him.
DJ Jackson, first year here. It's my boy. Love him. Workhorse. Everything about DJ screams workhorse. Every day. I like to call DJ's an everyday guy. Shows up to the job every day, and you know what you're getting from him. He's not going to cheat the grind. Never cheats the grind. He's going to work hard every day. DJ has skill set, but his skill set doesn't match his toughness. His toughness is what makes DJ so good. And now that he's developing all these skills, for the longest, DJ Jackson wouldn't shoot a jump shot. Now, if you watch Newport games, so confident in his jump shot.
I expect it to go in.
I expect it to go in. Me
every
too.
time.
Okay, he put a lot of time in the summer on his jump shot. He spent a lot of time in Make It Rain, getting a lot of shots up. And it wasn't something that he was forced to do. It was something that he wanted to do. DJ's stronger than a lot of kids, smarter than a lot of kids. He's always been a great passer, but now his skill set is matching up to his toughness.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, and that's what's making him such a hot commodity, because now it's all adding up to be the same thing. So now he's being able to shoot the ball. He's already strong enough to drive. He's always been athletic. So now it's all filling into the pot, and it's making him so much better. And he wants to win so bad. And DJ's willing to do whatever it takes for the team to win. If that's sacrificing shots on that day to guard the other team's best player, he'll do it. If the team's lacking rebounding, he'll do it. You don't have to ask him things twice. Like, whatever it takes to win, that's what DJ's willing to do, and he's going to be an absolute steal for somebody at the next level.
I think so. If I was to talk to a coach about him, again, not being a basketball guy, on the personality side, he's no nonsense.
No.
He's not goofy. You don't got to worry about him.
Business.
He's business.
Straight business.
He's all business.
That's what I could say about him and Jabari both, man. It's straight business. When it's game day or anything, man, they're locked in. They're doing great. Obviously they're both. If you know both of them, they're extremely quiet kids. They don't really talk a lot. They don't say much. They lead with their actions.
Yeah.
They're going to show up to play. They're going to show up to play, and everybody else needs to, and that's kind of how they lead.
Yeah. Let's see the other. So the juniors, we got Noah Silverton. I'm biased. He's my kid.
Yeah.
And then Beans.
Yeah.
Deshaun Anderson, and tell me about the pair of them.
Those two, man, and also Kyle Lee.
Kyle Lee.
Yeah, Kyle Lee.
The sharpshooter.
He's sharpshooter.
That's right.
Super
Mr. Sniper.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
So Noah, if we go with Noah, man, Noah is his own biggest critic. He's his own biggest critic. Noah is super duper talented. He can play multiple positions. His life, before high school, he was a center.
Yeah.
So, he was posting up, doing a lot of posting up. So he has the gift of being able to go in the post with smaller defenders and be able to work his matchup that way. He's so quick, so he can make moves off the bounce and get to the rim. He's able to make jump shots. He spends a lot of time in the gym on his craft. So Noah, man, he's very, very versatile. So he can guard multiple positions. Noah is going to be a good player for us. I think him and Beans, Deshaun, are both our X factors. In order for us to make a far run, they have to produce. and I think both of them are more than capable of doing that.
Tell me about Beans. He does a lot of exciting plays.
Yeah.
I mentioned this in the last interview I had with the Snaps. Like, he has some dunks that are just great, come out
Yeah.
of nowhere and electrify the place.
Super duper athlete.
Yeah.
Super athlete, super fast, bouncy. He's got long arms. Fearless, tough kid. Super tough kid.
Guard anyone.
Guard anybody. Anybody. He's not afraid of a challenge. You can put him in any environment. He's not gonna back down. Tough kid, excuse me. Extremely tough kid. Works hard. Beans is similar to Noah as far as his own biggest critic. Sometimes they overthink things and get in their own way. They get in their own way, and once they put that stuff out of their mind and realize they can just relax and play basketball, there's no pressure. Just have fun, enjoy the moment. Everything else is going to take care of itself.
Yep. All right, so under the juniors, we got some pretty significant sophomores.
Yeah.
We got, who do we got? We got Tay.
Taylor Kinney, you have James Turner, Irvan Nichols.
That's right, Big Swerve.
Big Swerve.
Irv's fun. Everyone roots for Irv.
Yeah.
Everyone roots for. They love it. Like when he gets in at the games and stuff. Like everyone cheers. Even the other side, people love Irv.
Big Swerve, man. The thing about Irvan, to know Irvan, you're going to love Irvan.
Yeah.
Irvan is that child that's is obviously Taylor and James' best friend. They became best friends probably 2-3 years ago. And, every day they're all together. Those three, you'll always catch them together. That's the craziest part about our sophomore class is those kids are so close. I love those kids. And I forgot Keegan Farrell as well.
Keegan. Yep.
Keegan, Keegan's obviously a stud football player, really good, tight end and D end. Had a really, really good year this year in football. Kind of finding himself on the basketball court. Hasn't really found himself yet, trying to find his role on this team. And I think Keegan keeps getting better. He's going to be a big piece for us.
Yeah. He played tough in the summer.
Yeah, really
rebounding.
Tough in the summer. Really tough in the summer. He's been dealing with a finger issue. His finger's kind of messed up. So, Keegan hasn't really got a real stab this year. But I think he will. Same thing with Irvan, man. I think they both just need a big summer of work this summer. And I think they're going to get to where they need to go. I think they could be big pieces for us in the upcoming years.
Yep. James Turner,
man, he has so much upside. A lot of people talk about his upside. The biggest thing I harp on James is the wanting to work. A lot of kids are, that are naturally good. James is one of those kids that was naturally born with gifts that you can't teach. You can't teach his size. You can't teach his athleticism. You can't teach his timing. James, he times guys. He waits on you. Then he'll go up and block a shot. He gets off the ground so fast. The thing about him, man, he has to want to work. James is starting to kick into that gear where he's starting to fall in love with the work. And, it's showing. He's having a good sophomore year, but I think, if he widens in a little bit more, he can have a great sophomore year. Still a long season left. I'd like to see James produce a little bit more than what he's doing. I think he's capable of doing more, as we all know. And me, obviously, James is my nephew, so I'm big on him. I'm a big critic on him. So, I expect a lot out of him. Probably a lot more than he expects out of himself. But I see the potential for him. He can make a lot of money playing this game.
Yeah. Talon, no surprise, and everyone's shocked. Tell me about Talon.
Talon, man, he's a kid that spends a lot of time on his craft. A lot of time. He spent so many hours throughout his life. A lot of kids are playing video games or going to the movies or partying or doing that stuff. Talon's in the gym. He's a gym rat. He's constantly in there. If he has a bad game, he's hard on himself. He wants to get in the gym and work on it that night. That's the thing about him that separates him and makes him different. He doesn't want any handouts. He doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for him if he has a bad game. Like, he wants to be better. He expects to be great.
Yeah.
A lot of kids just want to be good. He expects to be great. Talon has high expectations for himself. A lot of people have expectations for him, but the expectations that he has for himself are a lot bigger than what people probably think. Talon wants to go to the NBA, and when you say that, like, you have to work towards that. That's kind of what everybody in his circle has kind of told him and taught him. Like, it's one thing to say that. A lot of kids say they want to go to the NBA, but are you willing to work for that? And I believe that he's kind of hit the corner. That's what he sees out of his life, and that's where he's pushing himself. And, obviously the support of his teammates and the community and everything, his family, everything has been beautiful. But, he has to continue to work, can't get complacent, has to stay humble, and I think sky's the limit for Talon.
Yeah. He, I think on the last interview I had in my studio with Snap, well, Ethan said that he'd rather lose a limb than lose a game.
For sure.
He's crazy competitive.
No, seriously.
He wants to win it all.
He hates losing more than he likes to win. And some people don't understand that. They may go over your head, but he hates to lose.
Yeah.
Winning is expected for him.
But that's why he'll sacrifice. He'll pass. Because he could score a ton every game, but he shares the ball. He can make smart plays.
He wants to win. That's why it's so hard. Some people ask, man, what do you think Taylor's going to average? You never know. Like, if you come watch Taylor and you're coming to a game and you're expecting him to score 40, 50 points, he may.
He can.
But he may not. He may have 8 points and guard the other team's best player and just make sure that he doesn't score if that's what it takes to win that game. Yeah. He just wants to win. He's a natural winner. That's what he wants to do, and it's going to pay off in the long run.
I think I read some of the best college coaches, they're not necessarily concerned with stats. They're going to see how you impact the game.
That's how he impacts the game. He wants to win.
He wants to win.
He wants to win.
That's cool. Okay, we got some freshmen.
Yeah. We got Monte Lowe.
Monte Lowe. He punches above his weight. Tell me about Amante.
Amante, man, he extremely, really, really one of those kids, similar to Keegan, really, really good at football. Really good at football, basketball player. He brings that toughness and that edge and that grit to the basketball court. He'll defend the other team's best player. Another one of those kids that'll do whatever it takes to win. That's the beautiful and the luxury of Newport basketball. A lot of these kids are willing to sacrifice me. You know, they're willing to sacrifice their own personal goals and their own personal achievements for the greater good of the team. And that's what's special about Monte, man. He can handle the ball. He can break presses. He guards the other team's best player. He's not afraid to get in there with those big guys and get rebounds. He can make shots. You know, he's really confident. He's a gym rat. If you tell him, Monte, you're working out at 5 a.m., he'll be there. Then he'll go to football practice at 8, and then he'll go lift at 11. Then he'll come back to the gym at 6. Whatever it takes to be great, Amonte's willing to do that. And I think, obviously, in a few years, he'll have his choice to either go play college basketball or college football. And that's what's special about that kid.
Yeah. So special team, a lot of great plays. And some of the guys we're not mentioning, like there's a lot going on here.
Griffin Starks.
Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin.
Upside.
Through the roof.
Mr. Upside.
Through the roof. Griffin, a lot of people don't know, man, he's 14.
He's 14. Freshman.
He should be only be in 8th grade.
Yeah, he should be playing JV, maybe.
Yeah, he should be playing middle school basketball.
Middle school basketball.
That's what's crazy about it.
And he's making a difference against like prep schools.
Prep schools, man. And that's the thing about Griffin, man. He's another kid that it's never about him. It's never about him. He'll do whatever it takes for the team to win. I think he's learning. He's a sponge to everything, man. You teach him something.
Not a lot of ego. Not a lot of ego.
No ego at all, man. He's never on an ego trip. Like he doesn't look at things like, oh, it has to be about me. A lot of kids with upside, you think it has to be right now. He understands that his future is super duper bright. So right now he's just learning and listening and wanting to get better. That's a testament to James and Keegan kicking his butt every day in practice and continue to get him better and get him stronger. Continue to put weight on. Continue to develop a jump shot. I think he's going to be special, man.
How does a young guy have that much maturity? I wouldn't have. If I had his talent at his age, that's
testament to his circle and the people that raised him. You know, his mom does a great job with him. His brothers and sisters are extremely tough on him. You know, they hold him accountable. I think parents and kids and brothers and sisters and moms and dads, they don't get enough credit as holding their kids accountable. And they get away with everything, and there's no work ethic, and there's no real expectations. You know, you don't know what their future could hold. But the more you start to hold them accountable at a young age, the better they are.
Okay, man, I'm excited. I guess I would want to ask your prediction on the season. But when I talk to Tay, he's like win every game. So it's kind of pretty limited. How do you see this year playing out?
Man, I think this year, obviously, I like our chances. We have a really good team, but there's some really, really good teams in the 9th region.
Yep.
Winning the region is like hitting the lottery. So, man, I'm just hoping that our slot machine is going good at that time.
It's time to hit.
Yeah, I hope we can hit those lucky sevens so when it matters. Obviously, we're in a tough district. Hopefully, we can come out on top in that and win the 9th region, man, and make a run at state. You know, obviously, that's these kids' goal. That's everybody in the community's goals. That's everybody's expectations. Obviously, if we set the bar high, these kids are going to aim high. If we set it low, they're going to aim low. We continue to shoot at the moon. You know, hopefully we can get there. So I'm hoping these kids can win the whole thing, man. I wouldn't love anything more. I think they deserve it. They put the work in. They put the time in on their craft. They stay locked in as a unit. I think we can make a run at the end.
Very cool. All right, I think we're getting near time to wrap here. If there's other parents like me who are wanting to like get their kids training or get them better at basketball, do character development, like what if they wanted to get involved with you or one of your organizations, what are the best ways to do that?
I think you could find us on our website at makeitarainhoops.com. You could
Does that have the AAU stuff there?
Yeah, it has our AAU information and everything, our Drew Mitchell Elite. All our info is on our makeitarainhoops.com page. You can go to our Instagram and Make It Rain Hoops. You can go to our Facebook and Make It Rain Hoops. You can find me at Andrew Mitchell on Facebook. You can find me at AF Mitchell 24 on Instagram, and you can get all the same information, and I can help you, whatever your needs are.
And so basketball, people can get kind of everything. They can get training, like strength training.
Yeah, we do
skills training.
Everything. We do strength training down here at Make It Rain. We do basketball training. We even got pickleball. You guys can come get some exercise, play some pickleball down here.
I don't see anyone listening to this coming for pickleball.
Nah, yeah.
But for basketball specific training, just in my experience, there's no greater place in the tri-state. If someone wants to be good at basketball, they want to train physically to get better at basketball, training their hops or whatever.
Yeah.
If they want to get better at shooting, all the things.
We can knock all those out here, man. We got all the tools to do that. And Sonny, I appreciate those kind words as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad to be a beneficiary of it. So it's a parent who clueless and was able to see my son develop it. He's a player.
Yeah, he is.
He plays on a great team.
Yeah, he does.
Contributes.
Man.
It's great.
It's big time varsity kid, man, and definitely a key piece to everything we do down at Newport basketball.
Especially from where he started to where he is now.
Crazy.
I can be a witness to the process, to trusting the process, getting in the reps, and doing it. Like I've witnessed it. So.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I'm proud of who he is and who he became over the years. And I still think the greater is coming later.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Andrew Mitchell. Looking forward to seeing the rest of the season. And, thanks for having me in your space here.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what other kinds of content you guys put out of here.
Yeah.
I'll be eagerly watching for it.
No, I appreciate you, Sonny. Thank you for everything.
Thanks, Drew.
Thanks.
Cheers.